maybe for the sole purpose of this podcast, we can just refer to Frankenstein as old Frankenstein. It's better branding. It's way better branding.
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
much cleaner to say. Let's like sometimes meanings of words change over time. Names change. Forget Frankenstein's monster. Change approved. Here on Talk Talk Punch. Officially now just Frankenstein.
It's October, so you know what that means. We're focusing on monsters, and this week we are ranking the Universal monsters. This is Talk Talk Punch. Thank you so much to both our audio podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers for joining us. I'm Brody. I'm joined by Tudong Dylan.
Hey.
And the man of 1,000 nicknames, Charlie Hickman.
Hey.
Hey, you know what? If at any point you like what you hear and you want to hear more, we do have a Patreon where you can get exclusive content about topics that you won't see here on this main channel, such as mailbags, behind the scenes, and special lists. It's a good time. So you can find more information about that in the description below. And if you haven't already, we would love it if you subscribed and liked and hit that notification bell so you can come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and have some fun. And you're going to want to hang out for this one, folks, because not only are we ranking the Universal monsters, but at the end, I'm going to ask the AI. I already asked the AI to rank the same monsters, and we're going to see how much better our list is than that pesky AI, because we are better because we are humans. Down with that AI. We're smarter.
All right, easy. Don't offend the AI before we get started here.
It's true. Yeah, we love the AI. Please help us with the algorithm. AI, help me out. Throw me a bone here, please. All right. Well, yeah, it's October, so we're doing all sorts of spooky stuff. We've got all sorts of stuff. So make sure you are subscribing and coming back here every week because we've got good stuff. Universal monsters. I love them. Nice. Dylan, you love them.
Love them.
Charlie?
I know that Brody has been quoted as saying that the biggest tragedy in cinematic history was that the new Universal Monster Universe did not take off the ground and that it folded before it even began. So I cannot wait to hear you guys' rankings. This seems like one of those lists that on its surface, this will be easy, but this might be one of the more contentious ones we've ever done. So,
yeah, I am famous for being upset that Dark Universe didn't take off. But these are the old ones. These are the originals, right? So we're stepping back in time, you know, right in that era that Tudong loves to talk about. They're those old movies. Old movies.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and jump on over here. Okay, let me read these out so you guys know what we're doing. We've got Frankenstein. We've got the Bride of Frankenstein. We've got the Phantom of the Opera. We've got the Mummy, the Invisible Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, not Lagoon.
I would watch the Creature from the Black Lagoon. That would be
the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and last but certainly not least, Dracula.
You didn't forget Wolfman, right?
No, he's there. He's right in between the Creature from the Black Lagoon and the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Nice. These are great movies. Great movies.
Yeah, these are great movies. I love them. I still remember when my family went to Universal Studios when I was young, and we went they had back then. They had like an area that you could like see a lot of these sets and stuff, and we all loved it. And so then we went on this big huge kick of Universal monsters. That was a while ago, but I still love them. Okay, so what we're going to do, if you've never joined us for one of our rankings, we're going to take these, we're going to shuffle them all up, and they're going to come out one at a time, and we're going to put them in their places. And just because we drop them in place doesn't mean it's locked there. It might move around. So we'll see. As we argue, and Charlie gets mad at us because he has an opinion, and Dylan and I disagree.
Wow.
Coming. Do we need to get out in front of the actually crowd because you put Frankenstein and not Frankenstein's monster? Well, actually,
so this one is, the movie is Frankenstein. is he actually called Frankenstein's monster in like, I know that the technical term from the book is, but this one from the Universal Monsters, is he called Frankenstein's monster in this one?
I would love to just refer. I would just love to refer to him as Frankenstein, because they're making the murky territory. Is it Bride of Frankenstein or is it Bride of Frankenstein's monster?
I know.
It opens up a whole different.
I thought the same thing as I was making this list. I was like, so she's the Bride of Frankenstein. So did she marry? Because, man, it's been a long time since I've seen this.
Some people call her just the bride, but then we get into like, now we got Kill Bill and the bride, and it's just maybe for the sole purpose of this podcast, we can just refer to Frankenstein as old Frankenstein. It's better branding. It's way better branding.
Yeah,
it is.
Much clearer to say. Let's just like, sometimes meanings of words change over time. Names change. Forget Frankenstein's monster. Change approved. Here on Talk Talk Punch, officially now just Frankenstein.
Because he should be Frankenstein, and then Victor Frankenstein should be father of Frankenstein. There you go.
Father of Frankenstein.
Nice. Yeah.
There it is. Okay, shuffle. Oh, look at that. So fast. Okay, let's go ahead and start this out with the Invisible Man. Ooh, he's all wrapped in bandages. You can't see him. And he's got cool sunglasses. I love the Invisible Man. He would be top 5 for me. Top 5.
Did you enjoy the Chevy Chase version of this?
Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Yeah.
That was fantastic.
I also just saw the one that came out just, 2 years ago, maybe. It wasn't as good.
I didn't see that. I did see Hollow Man with National Treasure Kevin Bacon, and that was fun.
I remember that. We saw that in theaters together, I believe.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. But the Invisible Man.
I'm good with top 5, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe 5.
Starting at 5. So like the bottom of 5. That's pretty low, Charlie.
Room to grow.
He's iconic. I'm gonna
room to grow. Everybody on those lists is iconic.
I was gonna say, spoiler alert. You're probably gonna hear the word iconic a lot this episode.
I can't believe I'm blanking on the guy who plays this. He was in Casablanca. He was Prince John in like The Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn.
Nobody help him. Nobody help him. He's got to get it on his own, otherwise he's not going to feel good about himself.
Oh,
this is true.
He's going to feel like a real dirt clod.
A clod of dirt. But I'd also like to say that when it comes to body counts, just with one on like their initial movie, the Invisible Man takes it. He kills like an entire train. He must kill like 500 people or something like that.
Did that hint help rain down the idea of who?
Oh, Claude Rains! There it is. There it is.
Excellent.
Yes.
I love
fantastic. This is also Claude Rains' first movie, and they cast him solely on his voice because it was unbelievably epic. His laughing and cackling. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
he was famous for doing plays.
I love the look of Invisible. I just think he's so cool.
Let's put him at 3. Let's put him at 3, not 4.
Let's start.
3, not 4. We can move him. We can move him down if we are like, let's change it. Just based on his body count alone, he kills so many more people.
It's true.
It's an impressive body count.
It's true. Okay, next up we have the Count Dracula.
Bela Lugosi. Now, even though Bela Lugosi was exceedingly, I can't believe I actually found a biography on a book on him. It was so well written. He not only has only played Count Dracula in the Universal Pictures twice, this movie, and then in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Just with those 2 movies alone, he defined what like a vampire really is. This for me is my number 1. I don't know if you guys are saying anything else, but this was always for me the ringleader. Dracula kept his mind. He is like he can focus. He's not going nuts like the Invisible Man, and he's not like just going nowhere like Frankenstein and the Wolfman. They're just raging whatever. He chooses his battles and he picks them well. Kills everybody is what he does. I say, like I said, number 1.
Charlie?
I think this is pretty easy number 1 for me. I think it's probably, I don't know, to coin no one's used this term yet, but I think it's probably the most iconic character that's going to appear on the list. There's been so many Dracula incarnations and films since then. And come on, Bela Lugosi, Gary Oldman, from Lugosi to Oldman. I read that book. That's a good one. If you haven't had a chance to read that,
that's cool.
I haven't, but I loved it in Ed Wood.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was great. I love Bela Lugosi. He is a fantastic actor.
All right. Next up, the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Wow. Now, once again, iconic. The look of him is completely iconic. Interestingly enough, his is one of the later entries. It's like the 1960s or so.
Yeah, 54.
54, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was the 60s. That must be it. Yeah. But either way, like the others are like the 1930s, like Frankenstein, Dracula, even the Invisible Man. I think he was what came even earlier. But I have to say, I always loved the creature from the Black Lagoon, even before I watched the movie. And then when you watch the movie, it's like, well, I mean, he's still really cool looking. I'll say that.
I always thought he was the creepiest looking. I was probably
creepy looking for sure.
Most scared of him, and just having something called the Black Lagoon just gives me this like thought of like dark water, and if you're swimming in dark water and this thing is hanging out, that's super creepy. Super creepy.
I have to say, just kind of like if you're swimming along in this black ink water and you kind of run up on him, that would suck. But even in clear waters, I would be very upset, like swimming into him or even swimming anywhere near him.
That's true.
Where would you guys put this?
This is a bottom fiver for me, and pretty comfortably. I think we got some big hitters coming.
Yeah,
maybe like an 8.
Oh, I was thinking like maybe 6. Dylan?
Well, let's start at 7. Let's start it at 7 in that case.
Split the difference.
Start it in the middle. Split the difference. Start in the middle. We want to bring it up. We'll bring it up. Down.
I think he's super creepy looking.
He's very creepy looking. Although in the, if you were going to say that the Monster Squad, are we counting like Monster Squad at all? Because it's not exactly Universal, and it's certainly not any of these guys. But he got
I think we're just going
like
off.
That was it.
I think we're just going off like the Universal monsters.
So in this case, Wolfman does not have nards. So there's no. We don't have to worry about that.
I don't know.
Speaking of Wolfman,
which is why he's making that face.
Wolfman up next. Len
this was
Wein?
the only
Len
character.
Wein?
What?
Len Wein, right? That's who played.
Lon Chaney Jr. played the Wolfman. Lon Chaney Jr.
Who am I thinking?
Because Lon Chaney, I have no idea. I don't know. But Lon Chaney Jr. was
Scott Speedman or whatever.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, you're thinking Scott Speedman from Underworld.
Scott Conn. That's the name.
There it is. I don't think he's even been in a Universal movie, but that's the one. Interestingly, Lon Chaney Jr. is like the only one to have played his character all the way through the run of Wolfman movies. Also, I think he's also the only one who also played Dracula and Frankenstein as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He played Dracula in Son of Dracula, which came after Daughter of Dracula. Even though he was like, I'm Alucard, I'm his son, but I'm actually just Dracula. I don't know what I'm doing. But he played Frankenstein, like in several of the ones after Boris Karloff was finished with it. He did a lot of stuff. He was really good though as the Wolfman. He was so sad all the time. If there was a guy on here who is not at all intimidating when he's playing his like human-sided character, like this is the one. You feel bad for this guy the whole time. And he's a big guy, so but the whole time he's so nice, so unassuming. I mean, I think he did an unbelievable job. He was not exactly well cast for Dracula, and he was fine as Frankenstein, but this was absolutely his role right here. It made sense why they kept him on for all the Wolfman movies. This would be a top 5 for me as far as I'm concerned. What do you guys think?
So Len Wein, I don't know why I thought Len Wein. He co-created Wolverine. Why that name popped in my head? No clue. All right. Go ahead, continue.
You gotta have Wolfman top 5. The question becomes: is Wolfman above or below the Invisible Man? And this might be our first, big disagreement here. You guys seem like you don't care for the Wolfman.
I do care for the Wolfman. I do. I think he'd probably be number 5 for me.
So Charlie, where would he be for you?
Top 3 for me.
Oh,
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I really could see that. Like, I have to say, he integrated with some of the other characters really well. Like, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Unbelievable. He was so fantastic in that. Yeah, I mean, I would say I would be okay with putting the Invisible Man at 4 and putting Wolfman at 3. Because, I mean, he was just completely iconic.
So do you just hate werewolves, bro? Is that what you don't like? I
like the Invisible Man more than the werewolf.
Is it just because of your hair? You're so hairy that like you feel like attacked when people don't like the Wolfman. Like,
what is the psychological issue that I have here where I want to put the Invisible Man over the werewolf?
I think it's because you imagine the Invisible Man taking a shower and there's no hair, but when you picture Wolfman taking a shower, that drain is like.
If that's the case, he's number 10. Number 10. I can't handle the hair in the drain. I can't do it. I'll puke. I'll do it.
Now, doesn't that make him more like number 2, bro? Because it really seems like. Yeah.
It's just an extra way to scare you. He like breaks into your house and he's roaring at you and slashing at you, and you're like, I'm not really scared of any of this. And then he takes a big clump of hair and stuffs it in your drain, and you're like,
no, stop. Moving on. We got to rank this. This is my Halloween right here. This is what I'm scared of. This loose hair. Oh. Okay, so you guys both want Wolfman over Invisible Man.
I'm like, that's my personal ranking. If you guys tell me 4 or 5, like I'm not, we have time to kind of argue over everything once everybody's on the board. So if you want to start them at 4, how about that?
I will say this. If I were to run into someone who is invisible and they were talking and kind of cackling at me, that would suck. But I would still kind of be like, if I turn off the lights, technically, it has just become a fair fight. Now, with the Wolfman, I would have to probably leave the state, because if I ran into him, he would tear me to pieces. So, bro.
So are we building this list on who we can each take in a fight? Is that that changes the list significantly?
It does change the
What were you
list.
basing? I think that if we cannot come up with any sort of a way of ranking it, we gotta broaden the horizons when it comes to it, and basically we gotta come down to it as which one is scarier, which one looks scarier. One of them looks like nothing, and the other looks like a human wolf. Now,
looks
one of
like
them
nothing.
used his brain. He used his brain.
Bandages and sunglasses. I think that's pretty scary.
Whereas I think that that's probably somebody from the hospital. They're probably really weak and they need to be, going back to the hospital. They could get infected with all of those bandages.
All right. So Dylan, so you want Wolfman over you want him over Invisible Man. So are we dropping Wolfman at number 2, or are we moving Invisible Man to 4 and Wolfman at 3?
All right, now look, okay. I will say, as we're just discussing this, maybe I'm putting too much weight on the overall mythos of like werewolf, and not thinking enough about just the individual Wolfman character. Not even the first werewolf movie, not even the first Universal werewolf movie, although the 1913 one is like gone forever. But they have the American Werewolf of London or whatever, that was like 1935 before this. So werewolves were around, So maybe I'm putting too much weight on like this kind of idea of vampire werewolf. I know you're a big Twilight fan, bro.
I am.
So you got the battle here but I don't know.
When you think about it, he just has invisibility, whereas the Wolfman has, like, one could say, enhanced strength, enhanced like claws and teeth in which to rip you apart with. So I mean, but then again, like I said, like the Invisible Man, when it comes to like what the first movie's body count, completely eclipses every single character on here. So I mean, do we go with who is scarier, who's more iconic, who is like who we think is going to kill us very easily, and how? I mean, don't all these things come into play? And personally, like I said, an heir of nothing would be upsetting, but if all I had to do was like take out the light and then now we're on even ground. Although I love Claude Rains, I really do. And he killed a lot of people, but the Wolfman, like I would like that. I hope to have a heart attack and die before he gets to me. I've got to run. I hope he cannot. I hope he doesn't have like inhuman werewolf speed, which he would, and he would catch up to me.
We'll just drop it somewhere, bro, and let's get the rest of these out here because there's more.
If we're not putting him at 3, put him at 4. Oh, you're putting him at 2?
Well, I think it can always move, right? I think if we're gonna put werewolf over Invisible Man, then we can just do that. And if we got to shift him, we can. Charlie, was there an original American Werewolf of London besides the 1981 one?
Huh?
Or was it just
it's not an American one. It's not an American one, but he's right. It's like the Werewolf of London.
The Werewolf of London. Yeah, Werewolf of London. Yeah, 1935.
See, I've never even heard
that. Was good too. That was really. I saw that. That's good.
Never even heard.
Yeah, it's certainly a direct inspiration for American Werewolf in London, and
yeah,
I like stuff.
Interesting. Okay, moving on from Wolfman, we have the Bride / the Bride of Frankenstein / the Bride of the Monster of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein's father's monster's wife.
So it's his daughter-in-law.
Yeah. Frankenstein's daughter-in-law. So I mean, the movie is very well done. It's shockingly well done, but she is in it for maybe 5-10 minutes before her and Frankenstein's monster kill themselves. And she hisses at him and she's like, yeah, just not going to marry you. What about consent, sir? Which I appreciate, but like, that was basically the entirety of her character. She doesn't really come back. She's got pretty iconic hair, though.
The hair is
she's got fantastic hair.
She's got the full inspiration from Marge Simpson.
She's also not very scary.
My bottom 5, right?
She's definitely definitely the prettiest of this list.
I don't know. Bela Lugosi's pretty, and Claude Rains.
Creature from a Black Lagoon. Got it's like a 16 pack right there. That guy is ripped.
That's true. That's true.
It's looking like Brody a day after the gym right there.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but okay. So where are we thinking for the Bride? What are we thinking? So you said bottom 5. I'd agree with bottom 5.
I would too.
Lower than Creature.
Well, now let's look at it this way. If both of them were standing right in front of you, one of them would scare me completely out of my wits. And the other one, I'd be like, that's a very interesting, is that a costume? Or I like it. The hair is excellent. And that would be the Creature from Black Lagoon.
Creature's way scarier than the Bride.
Creature's way scarier, but he also has killed more people and has 3 movies dedicated to him killing all of these people, whereas the Bride, I don't think she kills anybody. I don't think she ever leaves the castle. It was terrible back in the days. They should have had her massacring people left and right like the Invisible Man did, but they didn't. She stayed home and she suffered the price.
Yeah. All right, so where are we dropping her? 8, 9, 10?
Let's start with 8.
8?
8's a good start.
All right. Okay, next we have the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Now, he's not even a villain. He's like supposed to be a good guy, and he's almost like a very nice version of the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it's like a nicer, gentler Phantom.
So he was scary though.
But just because people look different doesn't mean they're scary.
No,
this would be my number. This would be my number 10. He's the least scariest, and he's a nice guy. I don't think he kills anybody.
He creeped me out as a kid more than some of these other ones.
Really?
He was creepy looking. All right, you want to put him at 10?
Where would you put him, bro? Because 10.
I mean, he's still at the bottom. I'd probably put him at 9. But if you want to put him at 10,
I can't wait. Start him up at 9, then. Let's see who your 10 is before we turn him to 10.
I don't know who my 10 is.
Put him at 10.
I didn't make up this list. I didn't do it in my head beforehand. So I'm doing it right along with you guys.
Well.
Okay. You guys didn't think that he was creepy? You guys weren't creeped out by him?
He's a nice guy.
Nice guy. I didn't. To be fair, I didn't see it as a kid, so.
Yeah.
Well, you're making me feel bad
agree.
now.
So, by the way, love this the score, the Alan Menken score for the Disney Hunchback. Fantastic.
Well, yeah, that one is amazing, but this one is creepy. Okay. Yeah, now I feel bad. Sorry. I don't remember.
He's not a monster.
I don't remember if he's considered a universal monster. Doggone it.
Hog nabbit.
All right.
You should have put Bela Lugosi as Igor for these. He was that like where is he?
Oh, I don't know. I was just trying to pull 10. Okay. Next we have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Now this is good. This is like you've got allegories here. You've got comparisons with real life, drug use or whatever sort of other sort of cautionary tale. People trying to improve themselves with drugs or just taking drugs and then going on massacres, killing 1 or 2 people. Nowadays, it's very tame, but I will say I love the fact that they just kind of turned him into a different person. Nowadays, for some reason, they've got Dr. Jekyll, as a guy, and then they've got Mr. Hyde as some giant ape creature instead of just like what's supposed to be the worst of humanity coming to the surface. It's shocking how people have completely missed all of the everything that is important with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This would be I would put this at 6 even.
Look at that. You guys don't think?
Yeah, he seems very upset, and I feel bad for him.
You don't think that's creepy?
Do you need help?
It's creepy.
Is that his chest hair?
Yeah. I want to help him. I want to feed him and hug him.
Poor guy.
No. Look at this. Look, you don't find
He's
that
crying.
creepy?
He's
Come
crying.
on.
What happened to me?
He's wailing for help. Love
Oh, my
me,
goodness.
please.
Someone
love me.
I can't win.
Give me retainers.
Now I feel like the bad guy. Okay. Sorry. Dr.
Just
Jekyll
like
and
all
Mr.
the people in the Hunchback who just completely hated him just for his poor looks. I just wanted to go to the dentist. I had a couple of cavities. We don't believe in cavities here.
We know which side of history you were on, bro.
Oh, no. Stop.
He's a monster. Kill the beast.
No.
Just because you look like Gaston doesn't mean you need to act like Gaston.
Oh, I look more like the beast than Gaston.
All right, so Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde. Sorry.
I used to really love the Jekyll and Hyde musical. That was a weird face. There's been some interesting, incarnations of this story since, obviously. So certainly the lore has lived on quite nicely. This is pretty high on my list. I think this might be a top 5er for me.
Nice. 5?
5's good.
I can do 5. Yeah. I always really enjoyed the Jekyll and Hyde story. Really sad that we never got our Russell Crowe Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
We did get that. We got as much as we needed. More so, some could say.
Oh, come on. We needed more, baby. Dark Universe.
He was like a
Jekyll
nice
and
guy,
Hyde.
and then every now and then he'd throw a cell phone at someone.
That was a landline he threw.
Man, that's an old reference then on me. Although, to be fair, a lot of these people, the oldest person so far that we have looked at was born in 1882, and that's Bela Lugosi. And just to put that in perspective, Billy the Kid at the age of 21 died in 1881. So 1 year from overlapping with Billy the Kid, Bela Lugosi.
Whoa.
So this is like early in the time of like Annie Oakley and all the Western legends roaming the earth is when all of these actors were plying their trade. So
that's crazy.
Nice.
It's an old list. It's timely references all around.
Oh yes.
So why not? Let's talk some more landline. Let's do it.
Nice.
Hit him with a payphone.
Next we have the Phantom of the Opera /
the evil Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Eric the Opera Ghost. That's what he's called. He's called
they really
Eric.
call him-
Eric the Opera Ghost. Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the. Yeah, it's funny.
Did they really call him that? I thought they called him Phantom of the Opera, which is
When
a lot better.
when I was putting this all together, it was referencing him as Eric with a K. Eric the Opera Ghost.
Luckily, things were also. This is a silent film, so nobody got to like hear. Oh no, it's Eric the Opera Ghost instead of oh no, it's the Phantom of the Opera.
We were robbed of that moment. Oh no, Eric the Opera Ghost comes again.
Don't sing to us, please, sir, please. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna sing because I'm like Russell Crowe.
And this was
For some reason, he's British.
this was well before
Sound.
the musical, the Andrew.
Yeah.
Lloyd Webber. This is nothing like the
Is
musical.
father? Is this the dad of Lon Chaney Jr. then? Right? I assume.
Yeah, this is Lon Chaney. That's right.
Oh, is it really?
They call. Oh yeah. They call him the Man of 1,000 Faces. That makeup, he did that to himself. All of these things, it's nuts. He was the one who played the vampire in the movie that Charlie would reference earlier, where that was lost forever. But again, he got caps on his teeth that were sharpened. He put himself through a lot of pain for these movie roles. Maybe number 9 for me, only because better than Hunchback.
Number 9. Wow. You don't
I
like
think he kind of killed. What did he? Oh, I do. I like him a lot.
You
He
would put
dropped
him
his
below
chandelier
the
on
bride?
people.
Below the bride? I would put him above the bride.
I don't know. I mean, hey, that's an iconic look. And if we're just going off
It
of the
is.
look, then yes. But if we're also going off of, see, you got to widen your search sometimes, bro. You got to widen the parameters. So if basically his look is creepy, and it might get me to actually literally turn and run away. But if he caught me, then what? Because I don't recall ever hearing that he's got super strength or anything like that. Whereas the bride could probably tear me right in half.
He had traps. He had traps all over the opera house.
So you're telling me all I got to do is just not go to the opera, and then I'm just fine.
Hey, if you don't go to the opera, that's your loss, man.
Hey,
I would be more scared of someone who was forcing me to go to the opera. I'd be like, oh, come on, man. Don't make me go to the opera to live. Sorry, I know we have a big opera contingent out there. I apologize for offending Big Opera, but come on, give me.
Big opera.
All right, Charlie, where do you
would you
fall
put
in with Phantom?
Like, this is hard
Slash
for me
Eric.
because it is challenging for me to separate this from the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, which I just really don't like, and
Slash the Joel Schumacher movie.
Yeah, and
It's basically the same thing.
I am not a fan. And I know, look, again, sorry, opera people, Big Opera, Little Opera, all of you out there, I've offended. I know, Brody, I know your wife's a big Phantom fan, loves Mr.
Yes,
Weber,
yes.
and I apologize for that. I know you love cats because you now have so many cats at your house, so you must be a big Cats the musical fan.
No, I don't like
sometime we should
animals.
watch that Taylor Swift movie, but yeah, I guess maybe I could see this being 8 and moving the bride down, but I wouldn't fight you either way, 8 or 9 for sure.
Dylan?
Some great stills. Don't make me watch the
I
movie
did
again,
excellent
but
stills.
great stills.
Okay,
What do you mean, Dylan? I'm the one who started it off.
I know.
With 9.
We're saying, but I think that 2 of us are saying that he should be at 8. And bride.
I thought you saw. That's fine.
Bride
That's fine. I won't
Frankenstein's so
argue.
cool. It just hasn't spawned as many
It's-
things.
Where'd he go? He disappeared. I don't know.
And then the Invisible Man.
Oh, hey. All right.
Is it underneath the Bride of Frankenstein?
I don't know.
Perfectly underneath.
I don't.
Sometimes
think
you just
so.
gotta press undo.
Order.
Well,
Nope. Oh.
while Brody's doing that,
No, I don't-
Lon
he-
Chaney died at 47,
he disappeared.
young, pneumonia.
He was also supposed to play
Doggone
Dracula
pneumonia.
in Todd Browning's Dracula, but he died. And many say that Todd Browning's Dracula was technically there was a lot of wide shots. It was almost filmed like a play, not a lot of technical details. Now it's an unbelievable movie, and I love Bela Lugosi's performance. But people have said that he was a little bit hands off because he was still mourning the friend of his friend, Lon Chaney, who had, like I said, just died. He was going to totally be the Dracula, but
Lon Chaney, also born in 1883.
wow.
That's wild times.
Okay.
And look at you, bro. You got him in there. It is a much
exactly.
scarier Phantom than like the movie Phantom became.
Yeah.
But forever Eric the Phantom Ghost.
Yep, there he is.
He really, if I'd have known that, I would have argued a little bit more for 9. Eric the Phantom Ghost. Or the Opera Ghost.
The Opera Ghost, yeah.
That
Yeah, not
wacky
the
Opera
Phantom
Ghost. I lost my sheet music again. Whoops. Eric the Opera Ghost.
All right, so
Okay, the Mummy.
the
This
Mummy.
is Boris Karloff, right? Or no, Boris Karloff is Frankenstein.
Nope, he's the Mummy also, bro.
He's the Mummy. Oh, he's both?
Yeah, Emotep. I never could get in with. I could never just. I watched the Mummy and I watched the Mummies, like other Mummy movies where it wasn't with Boris Karloff. Never. That was not one of my biggest. I wasn't the biggest fan. I could put this at 9 and even have the
Mummy at 9.
higher.
The Mummy at 9.
I never could connect with it. I never connected with it.
It's not connecting. What do you mean connecting? This isn't a list of like who you want to have a beer with, or like let's grab a slice of pizza. Dracula, my best friend, who I relate to on a personal deep level.
Extra
You didn't like
garlic.
Brendan Fraser
because he's got garlic.
You didn't like the Mummy? You like Fraser's Mummy?
Fraser's
Frasier.
Mummy?
I love all the
love
mummies.
I love Fraser. Was he a mummy ever?
Yeah, Brandon Fraser. He was
Oh, that Fraser.
he was in the Mummy.
Brendan Fraser?
Brendan?
Yeah,
Brendan
he had like
Brendon.
3 or 4 Mummy movies.
He had 3. He
there
had
was
3. He had 4. He had 4.
There was
Or maybe 3 or
also
4.
the Tom Cruise Mummy movie.
The best Mummy movie ever made that
we're
no
not-
one ever saw for some reason.
We're not I saw it, doggone it, because I was excited for that dark universe.
I've
May it rest in
seen
peace.
parts of it.
Okay.
And
But
you
we're
loved it.
talking about old Mummy.
Brody, technically all mummies are old.
Good point.
You got me.
Now,
Okay.
in that first movie, Boris Karloff does not look like this. He looks like he's kind of an old-fashioned Egyptian fellow as opposed to in Raps. In fact, I think he was only in Raps for maybe one part of one scene. And I'm not saying that he's not scary. He is. He can be scary. Boris Karloff. It's just one of those. I didn't see it at a young age, so I don't know how I missed the Mummy ones.
I'd probably, for me personally, I'd probably put this over Jekyll and Hyde.
So you'd put Jack? Well, really?
I think I'd move Jekyll and Hyde to 6 and put Mummy at 5.
What are you putting it for?
We still have more to come, Charlie. There's still more.
I've
to
got
this
one more to
deck.
come.
Just one more.
There's one more to come. That's a heavy hitter. Heavy hitter indeed.
It is a heavy hitter.
Have you hit her on the way?
Yes,
Oh,
heavy
yeah.
hitter on the way.
I don't think I would put the Mummy over Jekyll and Hyde, only because, I mean, it seems kind. Tell me why, Charlie. Where would you put the Mummy?
This is another one that's hard.
He said he
simply
put it at
because
9.
of
No,
I
that's
wouldn't
what
put
I
it-
said.
I wouldn't put the Mummy 9. But the life that the character, or just like the idea of mummies coming to life, and it's not even fair to say that this originated in this particular film, but just like this is my reference point for this, like,
Right.
coming to life, so to speak. That this is like a character that's been used in a lot of different movies as the centerpiece of a villain. It's also made funny appearances in like TV shows like Psych, and like it's got like a cultural impact that some of the other characters on this list don't have, like a legacy that maybe some of the other characters on this list don't have. But also, this is like the Mummy, not like just a mummy or any mummy. So I could really be talked into a lot of different places. This was like, when I was just thinking through this before we were doing it, this was one of the hardest ones for me to figure out. I just kind of figured everyone would be kind of like top 5, and I wouldn't have to think too much about it. And I just kind of like agree. But then Dylan threw a 9, so So now we have to fight through it because he's like, screw you! I'll unravel your mummy dreams.
Well,
I mean, you're right. He's got like
that's
the
what they
little
did.
the fez hat, and he's just kind of like walking around, and he's clearly not Egyptian, and it's
Clearly, cultural appropriation, Sir Boris Karloff, unbelievable. That loses points with me, sir. Also, if you're like, it's not like you can't kind of run away from this mummy here. You can. Now, the mummy in the like in the Brendan Fraser movie, that would suck. He had lots of powers. He was exceedingly powerful, but this one he kind of shambled after you. And I always just kind of pictured myself kind of leaping backwards, taking a couple steps back, and being like, "Come on." I also think of Muhammad Ali talking about like George Foreman as a mummy. And he's like, right over here. And I'm like, anybody could just kind of knock him right down then. Couldn't they, just like Muhammad Ali? So,
Okay,
tough.
where are
It's
we
tough
putting
for
him?
me to sit there and be like, yeah, you guys, go ahead. I've spoken way too much about the mummy.
let's put it 6 for now, and then let's just get the last one out so then we can really get into it.
All right. Okay, and lastly, Frankenstein.
Now, of all of the series of movies, for all of these characters, he's got one of the longer resume when it comes to these. I think he's got more movies, and most of them were actually really good. The character goes, it's like you don't know if he's a bad guy, if he's a good guy. He kills people. He's like, I'm not going to kill anybody, but I'm going to start killing you out of nowhere. What's that fire? I hate it. I'll kill you. I'm not a monster.
Yeah, it's got to be 2,
It's
right?
great.
It's got to be 2.
Yeah,
He's the
definitely.
original.
Definitely.
He's the original Universal monster. Okay, so we're shuffling everybody down.
He's not the original. Dracula was first.
Was he?
The Invisible Man was even before.
The Invisible Man was
Frankenstein.
first.
Invisible Man, but then it was
Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde, 1913, and then Hunchback in 23, Phantom of the Opera 25, Dracula 31.
There you go. And then Frankenstein after that.
Yeah.
Was that 33?
Frankenstein was in 31 as well. Just November.
Wow.
Yeah, they went like Dracula in February, and then another Dracula in April, apparently.
The bride, Dracula's daughter.
And then they got Frankenstein and then November, and then The Mummy was the next year, December 1932. Visible Man 33.
Oh.
Crazy.
That's good. That's
a long time ago.
Respectable list.
We're coming up on 100 years of these things.
So the second Dracula, that was just for clarity. That was the 1931. Was a Spanish language American horror film. It was Carlos Villares, Lupita Tovar.
Have you guys seen it?
No.
I got one of the on the Universal Monster movie specials that they brought out when Van Helsing came out, that terrible Hugh Jackman movie.
Aww.
They included it on there. It is a really well done. Folks, if you have not seen the Spanish version of Dracula, it is excellent. They use the same sets. They don't use the same actors. They don't use the same director. Lots of director flourishes. It's an excellent flick.
Interesting. All right. How are we feeling about this list? Do we want to lock this in? Is there anything that is clearly out of place?
Probably. I don't know. I feel uneasy about
what?
Well, about all these things. What is
all of it?
No, I'm sorry. I'm multitasking. I don't like that. Like, this list has Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as being released in 1913, but then on IMDb I can't even find that existing. I've got this the 1930 version of that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Maybe it's just a short film, 1912. Okay.
But what about the list besides the order of the movies that came out? Does it look good to you?
That's not how I envisioned it looking.
I'm wondering, I think I was arguing for Phantom to be above The Bride, but I'm wondering if The Bride should be over Phantom.
Yeah.
I'm happy to move Eric the Phantom Ghost of Opera's past down. That's fine.
I highly agree.
She is like yes, for how like little she's kind of there. She's really like iconic. Like she's,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, she seems really up there.
Could we swap the Invisible Man and Jekyll and Hyde just so we get that picture that you chose of Jekyll and Hyde looking down at poor Quasimodo and judging him? Oh, look at this guy. He looks kind of funny. Not like me.
And you're gonna do it just for that, bro? Just for that? You could have picked another picture?
Look at this guy over here. Look at number 10. That guy looks weird.
Poor Quasimodo.
He doesn't have normal teeth like I do.
He's just like, Quasimodo's like, how did I even get on this list? I'm not a monster. I'm
here to help save everyone. You're a monster.
But you've got to please get out of here.
They couldn't even just let him use real chest hair either. They had to put a full bodysuit with like little fuzzy chest hair on him.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. How are we? Are we locking this in, Charlie? You're saying you're still uneasy about something? Is there anything else?
Lock it in. Lock it in.
Locking it in. Tudong?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and name these off, and then we're going to check with that AI to see what the AI has to say.
So the AI is going to eviscerate us.
At number 10, we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Number 9,
poor guy.
Eric the Phantom. The opera ghost.
The opera ghost.
The Phantom of the Opera.
Ghost.
Eric the opera ghost. Number 8, The Bride of Frankenstein / daughter-in-law of Frankenstein. Father of Frankenstein.
There it is, said daughter-in-law.
Number 7, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Number 6, The Mummy. Number 5, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Number 4, The Invisible Man. Number 3, The Wolfman. Number 2, Frankenstein / Frankenstein's monster. Number 1,
Frankenstein?
/ Frankenstein. Number 1, Dracula.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. Folks, if you haven't seen any of these older movies, check them out. They are surprisingly excellent.
Are these streaming anywhere? I wonder. Charlie, can you Bing that? Are they streaming anywhere?
I'll Bing it.
They've been streaming. I've seen them on streaming platforms.
Okay, well, while Charlie is binging that, let's go ahead and check with that AI. And we're going to go right like that way. Oh, doggone, that phantom picture is again just not wanting to stick around. So we're just going to change that real quick.
Oh, Eric, you wacky opera ghost.
He just doesn't want to stick around. He's like a real ghost. Okay, so for AI's pick, at number 10, they have The Bride of Frankenstein. Number 9, Jekyll and Hyde. Number 8, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Number 7, Phantom of the Opera. Number 6, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Number 5, The Invisible Man. Number 4, The Mummy. Number 3, same as us, The Wolfman. Number 2, Dracula. And number 1, they have Frankenstein. Interesting. Do you guys have any questions on that? Because I do have little descriptions for each one. Or are you just saying? Are you just saying the AI doesn't know what they're talking about? Because I think we did way better.
I think we did too. I think the AI happens to be rather, I don't want to say racist, but what's the Bride of Frankenstein doing at 10? She could kill all of the people in the bottom row and not even break a sweat.
I don't know. They say the female counterpart to Frankenstein's monster, the Bride, is a unique and fascinating character.
She's so opposite him that she's at the other end of the spectrum.
I don't know. Maybe the AI the AI said that it is a possible ranking based on their iconic status, cultural impact, and overall fear factor. So maybe it's the overall fear factor that dropped her down. I don't know. Because cultural status, I think she's up, or iconic status.
She's way up there. I'm surprised that the Mummy ranks so high. Now, iconic status, I kind of get. I get that.
Iconic, yeah.
But when it comes to the fear part of it, it's kind of like the Hunchback, where you're scared of him only because he looks different than you. And how did Jekyll and Hyde get
And
so low?
and
Like,
he's
that's
been
a scary
dead
one.
for a long time and is now back to life.
He's kind of like dust in bandages. And I do not fear dust, nor really do I fear bandages. But,
Okay.
I mean, Frankenstein's daughter-in-law, who could, like, hiss at me and tear me in half, that's scary.
Mm. All right.
She'd be very upset with me, like, for some reason on our wedding night. We get into an argument. Next thing you know, she's tearing an arm off, and she's like, I can sew this back on. And I'm like, oh, why did you just not do that?
So just as far as just to put a bow on some of the, where can you watch? It looks like a handful of these, including like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, are available on Peacock. And
Nice.
as we kind of approach Halloween, maybe more will pop up like in October and stuff. Like Dracula, you can find on Amazon if you have Prime.
Okay.
So then there's other ones that are just not anywhere. So like that 1931 version of Jekyll and Hyde, I don't see that existing as like with a streaming service. I mean, you can certainly buy it or rent it or
Sure.
whatever. But if that's what you'd like to do, but like the Invisible Man, it's also on Prime, like the original Invisible Man. So
Okay.
That's a great one. He kills like a train full of people.
Go check
Also,
them
you
out.
could see these if you want like just a refresher. You can also see these on Dead Meets Kill Count. That's how I learned that the Invisible Man killed so many more people, which surprised me. I didn't even realize that he crashed a train. I forgot that he did that. That's some Unbreakable stuff right there.
Yeah, the old Phantom of the Opera. If you want to see Eric the opera ghost in action, you can find that on Fubo TV, whatever that is, or MGM Plus. If you have that subscription,
Who has MGM Plus? If you have MGM Plus, comment below.
What's wrong with MGM Plus?
I don't know.
Wait, starting
I
fight.
forgot.
We've already offended Big Opera. Now you're going to offend MGM.
Oh my goodness! I'm curious. I don't even know what MGM has. Doesn't
We
Amazon
were
just
sponsored.
own?
They have a Billy the Kid TV show.
Doesn't-
I mentioned
doesn't-
Billy the Kid as part of our sponsorship deal with MGM, and now you're
Amazon just
throwing
owns
it
all of
away.
MGM. Why is it all just not on Prime? Why does he have to have a plus?
Gotta have a plus.
They
Everyone's
gotta
gotta have a
do
plus.
that. Yeah, you gotta have a plus, bro.
You gotta have if you don't have at least 15 subscription services, Brody, you're doing it wrong.
No,
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
all on Prime. Just put all of your properties on Prime.
They're working on it. I feel like they are going to start swallowing everything up. So
All right. Well,
Nice.
we are approaching an hour,
Speaking of
which
scary
is,
monsters.
which is this is a bit longer. So let's go ahead and
Scary.
wrap this one up. Charlie, take us home.
well, we hope you have a very spooky October. We thank you for joining us to talk about these very old and scary monsters. Let us know your favorites. And if you do get a chance, these are all very short films. Try to watch one. They're like an hour long. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Like hour 11 is like a long movie back in the day. So let us know your thoughts. Which one's your favorite monsters, scariest monsters? Where do we go right? Where do we go wrong? Hit us up in the comments, and we'll see you next time. On behalf of Wolfman over there with the beard and the Invisible Man over there, I guess, I don't know. Dylan, who are you? The Wolfman? Everyone's a Wolfman.
I'm a wolf man.
Everyone's a wolf man.
Dylan's the Wolfman when there's no full moon, and then Brody's the Wolfman when the full moon comes.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Makes sense.
I'm like Lon Chaney Jr.
And I'll be
Lon
Eric
Chaney
the Opera
Sr.
Ghost.
That's
All right.
Blackie, Eric the Opera Ghost.